Mexican Grand Prix. How you doing today, Mike?
All right, man. I really, really, really want to atone for last week. And I know I've been texting you all week,
You have
fired up
been.
about the Mexican Grand Prix because I fucked this last week. I'm gonna take it on the chin. It's my fault. It's fine. I'm gonna be better today, and I'm excited for it.
We're not here to point fingers, but yeah, you moved us away for some things, but we're moving forward, Mike. That's the beauty of a triple header. We're
I
right
like it.
back into it.
I know.
Right back into it.
It's the best part. Well,
I
how about this?
I
Can
will
I? Can
admit,
I?
you go
Yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say you were hot last week. Like I said, mea culpa. I fucked this last week. You had a lot of really good leans that I kind of pushed us away from. And then pretty well everything that you were on came through. So
Hmm.
what do you like right now? What's your top one or two things that we can consider before we really jump into like what we think is going to happen all across the grid?
It's really funny that you throw it to me because I was just about to say I don't feel as hot this week. My
I don't know, like
remarkable
maybe
my remarkable notes are quite thin, and you were just saying you were looking for a chance to atone. So why don't I just lob that right back to you? Do
my
you
God.
have something
Okay.
that you want to start with to atone?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Is Ferrari for real here? Is what we're seeing, is there a way to extract the best value on Ferrari? And I don't want to like this is kind of a weeds bet, but like let's just lead it off with a prop that we can look at that we can consider. So you get Sainz in P1,
Mm-hmm.
then you've got Verstappen, Norris, and then Leclerc in P4 who just won the race. They
Mm-hmm.
looked amazing in Austin. You can get Ferrari to lead after lap 10, which is a team
Ooh.
bet at minus 110. So it's almost even money for the
Okay.
guy in first
Going
place
to
or Leclerc.
a different
Yeah.
category. We don't look at this very often.
No, we don't. And the reason I'm looking at this one in particular is because Carlos Sainz is like plus 150 to win the race. Okay. So like that's like 60 extra points of value or whatever to win the race versus like being leading after lap 10. You've got Leclerc, who I think legitimately, based on the move that he pulled in Austin, and that ended up, having him win. He was P4 in Austin, was he not? And he just comes out of turn one and has the lead and wins the race,
Yeah.
right? So you got a long run to turn one here. He he looked really good in in the sorry he looked good in the long runs. I think he was had some of the better pace in the long runs, but we know that the compliance of the Ferrari and just how they've been in terms of form probably puts them well odds on. I think they're the top constructor in terms of points finishes and total team points.
By
Obviously, a
far.
lot has to do with signs on pole, right? But there's potential that he maybe comes through and can take the lead on that long run to turn one. But I do like signs. I think I'm comfortable with signs starting in that P1 position. I like that he will be on probably the C4, right? The medium tire to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I, hey man, I was on signs to finish ahead of Leclerc in qualifying because of it
He's a
seems
better
like,
driver.
no, it seems like the balance, the upgrades that they just recently brought, especially on low fuel, have shifted the balance more toward understeer, which we know again, Signs
Mm-hmm.
it seems to be better. And this is also a track, and Signs made the point, and Leclerc made the counterpoint. Both of them said like it's a lower downforce track because of the because of the high altitude, and it's slippery.
Yep.
And Leclerc tends to be struggle a little bit more on those tracks, and Signs sort of like can nail it right away. So like I like Signs there, but the fact that you get for like virtually nothing else, like what was it? Signs to lead after lap 10. I gotta find it. I think it was like plus 110 or something.
I like
And then
having
you get
both.
Leclerc and minus 110, right?
This
So you
is
like that's just that. Yeah, that's the inverse of it.
if there's a circuit on the calendar where front row is at risk, this would be it. It's the longest run to turn one. We see
100%.
all, and there's a big difference at this track between the clean line, which is the odd numbers, and the dirty line, which is the even numbers. It's not
We'll get into that.
uncommon. We will. I
Yep.
mean, it would be a flyer category, but I was looking at Lando out of P3. It's not uncommon for P3 to lead going into turn one
100%.
here.
Well, P3 has won what three of the last four races, I think, right?
Sure.
And I think that's a big reason for it is that whoever's in P3 gets that good run down the slipstream down to turn one. The counterpoint to that, and I don't want to lose that because I think it's important. We have to focus on that. But you have Max versus Lando
Hmm.
coming together at the start, and man, the mentality. I don't know. I've read it a few different ways. My thoughts on it are Max. Max. We saw him defend so strongly, like he's defending him off the track in Austin.
Yep.
Max will. take a DNF to make sure that Lando doesn't finish ahead of him, so that he wins the drivers' championship.
Sure, he'll
So
crash
that
them
to
both out.
me, I agree. So I think like that advantages Leclerc and that advantages Sainz in this situation when you have that long run down, right? Because that's a battle for them all the way down to turn one.
So I really like the lap 10. I'm glad you because even if Lando does come out of P3 and lead lap 1,
Sure.
I think the Ferraris have the pace, and you've got two of them
Seems like
versus solo guys in the other two teams to get it back by lap 10. Not to mention that we do have a massive straight every lap, which provides overtaking opportunities. And the Ferrari, I mean, I've seen it in the chat here. Yeah, I mean, the Ferrari has a great top speed. So when it comes to who has the capability, if they do lose the lead early, to get it back by lap 10, I like the Ferraris. And to answer your first question, they're for real. I don't think it's just this track. I think they're for real for the rest of the season. We can't be overlooking the Ferraris.
No, they always were going to be advantaged at a track that has more low speed stuff and straights, right? That's like less of a high downforce track. So that's Mexico. They seem to be better at the low grip tracks, and then certainly when you got to take a lot of curb, right? They're really compliant in terms of the suspension. So like you check all the boxes. The only literally like going into this race, the only downside I had noted for them was that I think they have like a smaller turbo in their power unit, and like sometimes that the altitude is a problem, but based on all the sessions that we've seen, like that doesn't seem to be an issue at all. The inherent car characteristics seem to be more favorable than like anything they might be lacking from a power unit perspective. So I don't know. I'm not concerned about it.
Are you concerned about their engine?
No,
let's have
no,
this talk now. Are we going to keep this in mind? Last week we heard Sainz had to go into what mode? He had to push a bunch of buttons on the steering wheel to avoid it blowing up. Now we're at the track again.
Yeah.
With the altitude, this is where engines have issues. I mean, Max was complaining about engine issues all through practice.
Yeah, he had an air leak. He had an air leak in his power unit, and I guess they switched out the unit to another one in his pool or whatever. And maybe I don't think that's an altitude problem. I think that's just like wear and tear type of thing.
But I'm not surprised that we see it at Mexico.
No, neither am I. But we're at this far into the rule cycle. Like I don't think that I'm counting on. I'm caveating this by saying I don't think I'm counting on 9 out of 10 teams to have their engines blow up. Or sorry, I'm counting on 9 out of 10 teams won't have their engine blow up. I do think that Alpine's engine's going to blow up.
Alpine,
but that's a whole. We can have that conversation at some point later.
Okay.
Because I do like the Alpines. One of the Alpines, not the classify at like plus 275 or whatever it is.
I marked down.
We can talk about that.
I put a star on our list here for the Ferrari lap 10. I like this. I think you've brought something that is good for the first thing we're going to talk about. At the very least, it's two. They have 2 cars up there, and Lando and Max have 1 each.
You know, this is again Leclerc starting on the dirty side of the track. I think there's a lot. We'll get more into that. I think there's a lot to be said about that. Mm-hmm. However, I think that this like the mentality that Max is going to have. Lando's concentrating on. I get that he's in P3, but I mean, if it was anybody else in P3, I'd be licking my lips, right? Like if it was Leclerc in P3, I'd be like, well, maybe he takes the lead. But
this isn't like Lando on pole that
he's got to get by. I know this guy has to get by Max though, and he just can't do it. He literally can't do it.
Well, as Max is like we're not going to bet on how turn 1 goes, but Max likely pulls over behind Sainz. I don't think he's going for Sainz at the start.
100%. He's taking away the slipstream opportunity for Lando.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. He's covering off Lando.
Exactly.
And I think like
that might open up for Charles.
Relying that theoretically it could. And the McLaren, like you're relying on McLaren. I just think there's something inherently baked into like the first phase of the start for McLaren, or the second phase of the start for McLaren. Even when the reaction time, when they show that graphic on the screen and it's like, oh, Lando got away quicker than Max or whatever. It's something about that second phase that it seems like Ferrari and Red Bull have that McLaren doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't trust that if we're talking about the start here, and then how important grid position is in Mexico. I think Sainz gets away.
Let me bring us to something that kind of goes along with this, and I think there's no guarantees in this sport. There's no guarantees in gambling. I think this is close to a guarantee. I just hate the line.
Ooh.
3 or more leaders is this is definitely going to happen in this race.
Yeah, but it's like minus 350.
It's minus 350. I know. Now, does it mean?
It's going to happen.
I mean, I already checked. You put $1,000 on it, you win like 285. That is not worth the odds. But it would really hedge and protect, but not directly hedge the Ferrari's leading lap 10. If they're not doing it, someone else is. Well, boom, there's your third leader.
We can't consider a minus. We can't consider a minus 350. And
350.
also, like the reality of the situation is like the fact that we're on Sainz and Leclerc to be leading. Like Sainz could, just for the exact reasons we talked about, Sainz could get the lead into lap into turn one. He could maybe Leclerc gets into P2, he starts rear gunning. Maybe like I don't know, is it possible that they somehow there's only two
He's
leaders at some point in this track if they just run away with it like they did in Austin?
do
It's
you
not impossible.
do you
You
know
know
if
what I
it's
mean?
one stop or two stop? Not
It looks
not that
like the
that really
optimal
matters
strategy
because
is medium hard.
everyone said it was two
No,
stop in
yeah,
Texas.
true. And it looks like it's a medium hard. That's based on every and they did Pirelli did make the note that there's essentially like no graining that's happening. There's no degradation really. Like it's super super low deg. There isn't any graining concern. So it
Okay.
doesn't look like this looks like a nailed on one stopper unless you want to try something different, which I think we can talk about for the midfield. But
Some teams might.
I
They're
think it's
not.
medium hard.
They're
Yeah,
not giving us a whole lot of midfield. I'm in race match bets for the teams right now, and it's all just
yeah.
Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes. Like I would have loved to look at what they're saying for
I didn't
Haas
like,
and Williams
dude,
or the V,
yeah.
but no.
I didn't like any of the team match bets at all. I mean, those are you're seeing them now. They're all like heavy on one side and not
Heavy Ferrari.
nothing nothing makes any sense to me. Like there's no
No,
value there. You're not going to take an underdog in these
unless
situations, I don't think.
unless you like Max to beat Lando again.
But I don't know. I
I
have
don't know either.
no gut feeling on that. I
No.
have no gut feeling on that.
What's your feeling on the Mercedes? I didn't think they looked good. I mean, it's not a sprint weekend, but Lewis Antonelli's
Yeah.
is in his car in P1. Then they've got this forced tire test P2. So it is a shortened, like Lewis got one practice session. But then they put it up there. I
I don't know, man. I do like it seems like they're going to be between fifth and seventh. The one I think like the one thing I looked at was do you take like George to finish sixth or were I don't know. George's got the older spec, but for Mercedes like it might be better to have the older spec. I don't like I get that Lewis has the upgrades on his car and George doesn't, but George's
well,
look kind of quicker, right?
Lewis is doing his classic. Oh, I didn't change anything from P3, and then the car is it's a different car in qualifying. So like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just going to finish like it's going to be them versus Piastri at some point. It feels like you know what I mean. They're
you do
not
think
going to
so?
compete with the top four cars, but I think Piastri will eventually become some sort of threat to get a top six. You know what I mean?
So I was looking at Group 2, and I thought, okay, well, Checo not going to be a factor. So you think Oscar could be challenging for like the top 5 against the Mercs?
Yeah, but then like at the plus 450 line, plus if Yuki comes out and then he starts on the dirty, so he's P17. But if Yuki comes out, then he's going to go to the dirty side, and he would need to get a super launch.
Does
And I
everyone
think
move
he's got
up?
the extra set of softs.
Everyone moves
Yeah,
up when Yuki comes out. They don't stay in their spot and just have an
I
empty
think
grid place.
I think they all move up at this point, don't they?
What there
Am I
is
wrong?
there is some,
Ooh,
I've seen it where there's an empty grid spot,
there's an empty grid spot.
but I don't
Yeah,
know what
wait
the
a minute.
factor would be. They pull out of it in the formation lap
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of. Yes, exactly. You
when
nailed it. Yeah.
when Leclerc
If
just
there's
crashed
yeah,
in the formation lap.
yeah. Or Yuki, like remember he at Monza, he just like his car just like did stop working. And
Right. Yeah.
Gasly's had
That's
that
got to be
problem.
what it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. You got it.
So no read on yeah, okay. That I mean this was one of the things I wrote down maybe. And you've already referenced you think the Alpines could blow up, but I thought Gasly in Group 4. I know me, Gasly. I thought Gasly in Group 4
But
was
you
maybe
liked him?
interesting. I thought it was interesting.
Really?
He's got
What is he?
I don't think the Astons are a factor. They're so negative. They're
Oh,
happy to be where they are, and they're way down. Gasly's
I agree.
8, and then it's Lawson in 12. I guess 11 if Yuki. We still don't
Yeah.
know what's
So
happening
that
with Yuki.
that makes me like it. Man, that made me like it even more to be honest.
Gasly?
Right? I don't know. There's something. No, like maybe like Lawson in that group even more. There's
Here's
something.
the thing. Gasly proved to me last week that he could hang around. He ended up finishing ahead
Good,
of
but
Alonso last week.
they still fucked them on strategy. Like I think like it's still Alpine has to execute. You know what I mean?
But
And this
even
he looks good, man. But he's been on the grass twice. Like he's driving across turn one twice, and there's every possibility that his engine blows up. I really think that there's like a chance that Alpine comes out of this race, and I like that DNF to not classify. I think it was plus 275 for one of them to come out. But that's just me hating on Alpine. But
would you look at
like
classified
of all tracks,
drivers?
this is the one. Yeah, I think it's the not total classified drivers.
2? Like 2 to come out?
Yeah,
Minus 163?
I don't mind that. To be honest, actually, I really don't mind
How
that.
low
That's
grip
awesome.
it is.
Low grip.
The potential,
No,
like, there's no guarantee an engine fails, but this would be the track that an engine fails at.
she didn't have that written down, but that is interesting. At minus 163.
For only 2 to come out, minus 163. I mean, they're saying 1 comes out, minus 700.
Yeah,
And this,
what
I
do
mean,
you think that
this is
Ocon's gonna
the
come?
break even. Is it 2?
Yeah. Okay. Well, like let's just Instead of, we're not going to take a plus 275, I don't think, for an Alpine to come out, but this is, you kind of
Is that
capture
what
it with
you were
this
gonna
plus
bring?
rest of the
No,
field.
you can't.
No, I know you can, but it'll happen. Like it'll be Gasly. Fuck, Gasly will come out. The guy that you don't think is going to come out. They'll just fuck him. Like his engine will just stop working. His power unit. It'll be the water pump.
If we were on his
The
group,
problem
he'd
that
come
they
out.
haven't had.
If we're not on his group,
100.
then he's just gonna finish.
I don't love. Okay, so I
No.
don't love Lawson, but go back to the groups because I do love Magnussen. Right. That's so you. Hey, great hot pick. I mean, we didn't even talk about our hot picks this week, but we both hit.
Finally hit
I
one.
took Sainz over Leclerc. You hit Magnussen over Hulkenberg. There's two ways that I liked Kev. So first, Kev was the one who really he brought up big time that he was super happy to be P7, to be on the clean side of the track.
Yep, he brought that up.
He did. He brought it up. He
and
made
Nico
mention
was
of it
saying he struggled. He's never been able to put 2 laps together.
Right. So there's two ways I like Magnussen. I like Magnussen to beat his teammate. I like minus 150 or something, and just like the straight up match. And then I like this plus 120 because Albon, again, he's on.
I'd rather
the
go
Williams. Yeah.
I think I'd rather just keep it within the family because Williams, their whole target is Haas. The whole thing is Haas right now.
I get that. Yeah. So you would rather take him one-on-one, and I think again, both those drivers are leaving. They're not going to They're going to prioritize the points. So they're going to try to do everything they can from a strategy perspective to get Kevin P7. And this is what I really like about this bet is that if Kev gets a good launch and stays in P7 behind the Mercedes, he's going to have a huge gap in clean air to cool down the car. And for Haas, that's been a problem. He mentioned, though, that it looked like whatever changes that they had made from a cooling perspective from last year to this year were significantly better. So I'm not super worried about the car blowing up on him. Really, I'm just worried about him taking a penalty. But if he has a Sunday drive, which he could, then that's an easy bet for him to beat Hulkenberg, who might get stuck in traffic. Have to battle.
My main concern,
people are dumping on it, minus 188.
Yeah, I mean it's moved a little bit.
So people are dumping on it.
I was on Kevin for qualifying, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I was going to step back and take super generalize the Haas, Kevin qualifies well and then moves backwards, but behind Hulk in the race. Like that's just isn't that just what happens?
Hulkenberg has over the course of their partnership, like Hulkenberg
this year,
an unbelievable qualifier.
This year hasn't it been like early in the season? It was Magnussen that was always in the top 10, but then he would just move backwards and Hulk would beat him.
I would say I think the trend is mostly that Kev has just kind of been trash and that Hulkenberg's just a better driver than him. But I'm not really worried about him just having no race pace compared to Hulkenberg. I like the fact that he's going to get the strategy, that he's got a gap that he could probably drive in without worrying about turbulent air or warm air coming off the car in front. And Hulk's gonna have to fight on the dirty side of the track at the beginning, and this is a track position race, right? Minus 188 is not bad.
It's nice that we do get a couple positions, and I agree with you. If he can settle in behind the Mercs, he's gonna lose them and then just have clean air to just drive around.
Yeah, he just got to keep Gasly behind him. But I think again, this is if we want to take his words, he's happy with where he is. I think that they have the best pace out of the midfield teams too. They generally seem to be pretty strong in race trim.
Hey, you don't have to tell me about the Haas. I saw this coming 2 months ago.
No, I know you did see this coming. Here you go. This is a Haas versus Alpine right here.
Yeah, this is.
He's got to get Gasly right away.
3-1.
He's stay ahead of Gasly right away, and then we're fine. I know it's not 3-1. I get it.
Are we? Should we then just take the group to get the plus money? Is this a case where?
Oh, so Yuki, we think Yuki might be starting from the pit lane, so he's not a factor. So then, Albon is the biggest concern from you. I'm not really worried about Alex.
No, I'm back off it. I am worried about Alex. Sorry, when you said Gasly, I was like, yeah. Is that the same as the group?
Yeah. Oh, you don't want Alex? Man, I don't. What's
Williams? I don't know.
I could see him holding on to 9 or 10 out. I think that's kind of where they are, to be honest. But I don't think he's going to get up to unless obviously Kev could go backwards for sure. And if that's the case, then Hulkenberg gets him too. But
I mean, Alex can get Pierre right off the start. He's on the clean line. He's right beside him.
No, I mean
then he's right up on the gearbox of Kevin. And
it's better. You're right. It's better to
sweat that out.
Take the minus 188. I'm fine with that.
In fact, I'd rather
nail 2 hot picks
on this massive straight. I'd rather choo-choo conductor Alex Albon hold up Hulkenberg for
us. Keep Hulkenberg. Yeah. Hey man, that's fair too.
I like this. Okay. And maybe I'm on Kevin this weekend.
Hey man, you can have a theme. There's nothing stopping you from having a theme on the weekend. You
Mega
like
V
Kevin?
Hulk. We don't need a capital V. Come on, that's crazy.
We got any leans in the chat? What do the people
I
like?
see in all caps Colapinto. I don't think this is the week for Colapinto.
Is
I
this it?
I
It
I
was last week.
knew
You nailed it.
I
You
knew we
fucking
had the
nailed
week for
it.
Colapinto.
Yeah, you fucking nailed it. You
I
nailed
knew
it,
it
buddy.
last
He
week.
was there. He was there.
Oh,
No, I
how do
don't. I
I?
have no lean on Colapinto. He's starting one in like 16 or 17.
Piastri in the points. Mark Brown on TikTok. I actually
Points,
didn't look
yeah.
at that yet. Does he
No,
have
but it's like
value
minus
or are they?
500.
Is it minus 500?
Yeah, it's like
Is
crazy.
it 700? Sorry, guys.
Minus 700.
Yeah,
Who's that? Who said that?
Mark. Mark, we like to try to stay within the 200 to 200 window. I got something.
Minus 700, dude.
I got a
Okay, what do you got?
flyer. Are you ready for a flyer? No, it's a flyer. Are you ready for a flyer?
Okay,
Or
can we? Well, we could. Sure, why not?
what if something
Uh-oh.
happens to a Ferrari and they're out?
Okay, so you want to do a bit of a cover? Yeah, I'm fine with that. What's the hedge?
Who's the only other team that has two cars up there? Mercedes,
I don't
most
even
points,
know.
plus 1,000.
Oh my god, it's actually not even a crazy bet, dude. But
If they get a, I don't think they're going to get the Ferrari. I think the Ferrari's faster, and I think Lando and Max are faster.
I don't actually. You know what?
But what if for plus
Usually I'm like 50
1,000?
bucks is a wait. Yeah, like you could literally put 50 bucks on that.
Yeah, and you win
That's
500
not.
bucks as a hedge
You
for
know
like
what,
something
Chaps?
crazy happening at the top.
No, dude, that's
Or
not a
or
bad
is this
idea.
recency bias because that's around? Isn't that kind of right where the Ferraris were last week, and then they got most points?
No, that wasn't that. No, what?
No,
No,
what were they 3 and 4?
most team points.
Ferraris
They
got
were
most
they were
points
the
last week.
favorite. Yeah, they were the favorite.
No, we were on McLaren. Ferrari, we would
No,
have got
McLaren.
Ferrari would
McLaren
have had a
wasn't the
payout.
favorite. No, no, dude. Ferrari was plus 137 and McLaren was like plus 188 or something
Oh, really? No. Oh,
for most
okay.
team points.
Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
dude. Yeah,
I thought
no,
we were
yeah,
on
but
McLaren.
no. But this, dude, hey, listen, I'm interested in this because if we like that Ferrari, like something happens in turn one, this is an interesting bet all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Most team points at plus 1,000. I would throw 50 bucks on that. We won both our hot picks, right?
Yeah, as a $50 flyer to just win a
Right? Like
500.
that's okay. Oh, hey, I mark it down. That's a good hedge. That's a great hedge.
Okay. Wow. We were ready
I
for a
like it.
flyer.
Well, usually we don't win our hot picks because you don't win. Usually I'm just paying for you to bet on hot picks, right?
I've also been anti the concept. I like to see the data. It's so
That's
hard to just, yeah, but that's why they're hot.
That's why they're hot, buddy.
Flyer, Merc, most points
I don't mind it. I don't mind the bet.
plus 1,000.
So we like that because we're not really worried about, like, Piastri is probably going to come through the field. We saw what Lando started P17 and finished in 5th last year, and there was a bit of chaos.
Does
And
Piastri
I
have
bet
that
you
in him?
Piastri,
Why is Piastri
maybe.
struggled so much? Even the lap that got deleted would have knocked him out. It's not like this was just track limits, but he would have been in pole. No, he's good in
They said
practice.
something.
But he
Yeah, what did he say? There was like there's some more to it, I think, wasn't there? He quoted like, what did he say? He locked up or something, right? Like, I just went to turn 12, he beached down the curb. That was the one that got deleted.
Yuki was the one that locked up in a corner that he didn't lock up all week, and he said that was weird. I don't know if that's what you're thinking of.
I don't know. Like, I'm not. So I'm like, that's. We should still take the flyer. That doesn't change my mind on that, obviously. I guess where I am leaning is then, okay, how about this though? We can consider this Red Bull, both cars in the points. No.
Oh,
Like, how hard do you want to take Checo?
I thought you
How
were
hard do you
going
want to
yes,
take
and I'm
Checo
like,
right now, buddy?
ooh, I don't know. And then he drops the no on me.
Minus 150.
Minus money.
And is that secretly kind of a sick bet? Okay, so here's the thing with Checo. He can't use his brakes. The guy, that's the only thing that he can do. Like, his only skill this is hyperbole, obviously, but his only skill as a driver is that he's great on the brakes in those braking zones.
Yep.
And he can't like Horner said it, Checo's been saying it all weekend. He has zero confidence on the brakes.
Yep.
Like, how is this guy going to drive the car into the points? He might drive it off the road.
How far down did he
did it
start?
last year. He did it last year.
18.
He's on the dirty side. Well, I guess he might move up though. Fuck. He moves to 17. I guess if Yuki comes out, we still have no idea what's happening with Yuki, but do we know? Is there any updates on that?
Him and Oscar both have to get through Franco. Ooh, that's going to be a challenge.
Oh, baby.
Franco.
Franco. That's a challenge. I still don't. We don't know. We don't know what's going on with Yuki, Thwart, and McLaren's mix. I still don't see anything on him.
Do you like that, or do you like 2 cars to come out of the race? They're similar lines. I didn't jot that one down, but it felt like we both liked it. We moved off it, or we moved.
Yeah, at minus 163.
They might be the same thing. Just check out.
Maybe this is
Checo going to crash, or is he not going to crash?
I mean, like, I would hate for him to just like make up positions because cars come out in front of him and he's getting closer and closer to a points finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, them together is interesting. But now we're getting a pretty full slip.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. I'm not super opposed to that. I would rather try to settle on one of those things and just have the 3 in a flyer. So we reset.
Checo could get in.
We like the Mercedes. We like the Ferraris. He could. Okay, it's fine. Move somewhere else. It's fine. I'm
He's
okay.
He's been on a lot of P8s this year.
Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at all my different.
But I don't mind the 2 DNF.
Is there anything? Yeah, I don't mind that either. Let's just see if there's something else that we like that's in that range. Because you're right. I'm a fan of that. There's some low downforce, low grip.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of potential.
Everyone's
competing. And wind. Some wind.
This season is not over yet. Everyone's got something they're fighting for.
Driving. They're all driving hard.
They gotta change that stupid freaking rule.
What?
The Max and Lando, and not just because I was on it.
I know, whatever. I know.
I tweeted this out, but our Twitter gets no love. X the everything app. But like my fix is change the definition. It shouldn't be apex. It should be when they hit the brakes, braking zone. Whoever's ahead when they both hit the brakes. Now you're leading the corner. You're defending. Yeah. Enough of this. I'm not going to hit my brakes and just full throttle to the apex. It's fucking bullshit. And he's been doing it. I love Lewis. Oh, now everyone wants to talk about it again? Yeah, go watch 2021.
It's so funny.
It's like, wait, you guys talking about this?
It happened to him in every race. Yeah, every single race it happened. All the notes that I took throughout the week were just like fades on Albon. I don't know what it is, man.
Come on. You were just upset at yourself from last week.
No,
don't overcorrect against Albon. He's great.
Talking about he's great. He's great. I don't know, man. The Williams, it's still very wind sensitive. There's a lot of gusts up in the altitude. There's he seemed like he was really confused about his setup. He's like, I'm gonna copy Franco's setup. Like I don't know. Like that's
I think Franco's the real deal.
Maybe it's working. maybe Franco's setup is sick.
Dude, we're still so scarred from one gust of wind in Australia, 2 years ago?
No, we really oh my god. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That could only happen to us.
I saw Williams put out
$500 on it.
Williams put out a social media video of just like Alex and Franco, I don't know, asking them questions to each other, but just the demeanor of Franco, he was not, "Ooh, I'm the rookie, I'm going to learn from you." He was like telling Alex what's up. And I like that level of confidence. This guy, get him a seat.
He's a sick guy.
Get him a seat.
But he's going to be an RB. He's going to be in a V car next year.
Might be in McLaren.
Oh.
Every time helmet, can I just tell Google stop? If it's a helmet Marco quote, I don't need to hear it. Every time this guy opens his mouth.
Yeah, but he might be in the V car because helmet's probably going to get him.
Do you think that's a real quote, or helmet's just stirring the pot?
Oh, I think that
Oscar's not chasing down Red.
Oh, that no. Oh, no. That's insane. Obviously, that's not what's happening.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
No, not at all. I don't know, man.
Without signs, I just don't have a read on who wins the race. Like it could be any of the three.
I was looking through all my notes again. There's nothing that I love that I wrote down. Is there anything So right now we're sitting on that minus 163 as the final bet, essentially. Which again,
potentially.
I'm okay with that. Like I did have that Alpine lean, so that's inherently I'm saying I think one of those
So
cars is coming out.
so fast forward to the hindsight. This has been an extremely reliable season. What isn't it like 9 races in a row without a safety car? Is there something crazy?
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know if it's that many, but yeah.
are we sharp to be on? It's Mexico. It's altitude. There's low grip. It's gusty. They're competing. Everyone's close. The grid's mixed up. So the cars are going to come out, or are we just going to look back and be like, why were we betting on cars to come out? They don't come out in F1 anymore.
I mean, that's a fair point too. Mm. I mean, I think like that's a tough it's a tough statement to make because you could just look at it both ways. You could be like 3 cars come out, and you're like, oh yeah, it's Mexico. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the altitude and the grip and the strain on the engines and all that type of stuff. Like,
One
yeah,
incident.
it's one incident. It's I don't know. I would
Do we?
so let's you got to do a little bit more of a deep dive. So we haven't talked about combination podium finish. I don't see anything that I like.
No, I didn't either. It was all just like the Ferraris and Lando.
Yeah, the one thing that I did. So here's like okay, we can just say this. Maybe there's a bit of a hedge here, but will Max or Charles finish on the podium? No is minus 138. I think it's the shortest on the board, and
Or
they just
and.
both.
Oh, and. Yeah, you said or. Yeah,
And,
sorry.
sorry,
Sorry.
I said or. Sorry, and I meant and. Sorry,
And, yeah.
Max and Charles finish on the podium. So like, if you just think about the top 4, and you take the dirty side of the track in grid spots 2 and 4, that's Max and Charles. Like, do you just, if we're
It's an
subscribing to
interesting
that
way to just
concept, do
distill it
you
down.
just say like Sainz and Norris will probably be on it, and then one of those 2 guys is not going to be on it, and you get the guy who's in 4th place at the very least, even though we think that he's a threat to just like jump the field and end up next to Sainz. We'll bet on that, and it'll be like Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen, and then Norris.
Well, that's where that's the
I
risk of
know,
this is it comes down to
of course.
exactly Texas again,
And
where it's just
we need
Lando and
Lando to
Max.
get by Max at some
Right.
point, and like okay, no, we're not doing that. And fine, if it does happen, we could be like, oh, we should have just taken the dirty side of the track. But you're right, I don't want to end up in this situation where we're just relying on Lando to get by Max because I just don't think
No,
it'll happen
right?
unless they crash into each other,
Max
which is
won't let
great.
it happen. The FIA won't let it happen. Lando
Yeah.
won't let it happen.
Lando will exactly right.
No.
Everybody's against it, so there's no real. So the combination podium finish, there's really no. I don't think there's a bet here,
No, you needed
unfortunately.
one of the Mercs to get involved there and then somehow have a good line on it.
And then we just fade George, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
we
I kind of like
like
this.
we normally do.
What app is this? YouTube. Coors Light Year. Colapinto in the points, Mike? It's moved
Really?
even up. Am I points? Points finish plus 1,200?
Why though?
Well, just because someone said it in the chat. No, I don't know. I mean, the
Because
Williams
he's
is
sick,
fast.
Just
Look
because
where
he's
Alex
sick.
is.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah.
I guess I liked it a lot more if Yuki came out and then it's like Colapinto's in 15. Does he get both
It could be
Ast?
that. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's the
Does he
case. Though. We
get
don't
both
know.
Astons? Yeah.
Is that back up? Do we know? Like, is the Yuki like what's going on with Yuki?
I don't think so.
Is that
Let's
group?
check
That group?
match
So then
bets.
maybe the
Oh, it
group
is
didn't
back
come
up.
down for that.
So he
Like,
must
I'll
not.
take.
If they put it back up, he must be starting from his spot. Does Albert have
Yeah.
anything? Anything on Yuki,
Or,
Albert? 13 hours ago. No, he's not tweeting.
I like if Yuki's racing, I kind of liked him to beat. We're not. You're not going to take this obviously, but I kind of liked him to just beat Lawson.
I actually
Like
liked
minus
Lawson
150.
before they took this away.
I know you did. I know you did.
Lawson
I
was
liked it.
on a better lap before Yuki crashed. Lawson should be he should be ahead of Yuki on the grid. He's fast.
Fast. I agree
He
with
was
that.
on a flyer.
Yuki's fast too.
He was
Like
on
he's
a
not like
flyer
Yuki's,
that was going to get him
yeah.
through, and then Yuki crashed.
I literally throughout the entire week have just gone back and forth. You know what I would love to do is just like try. Do you want to just like try to find a V card bet? Like I kind of.
Now that they're on the board
Do you think
again,
those? Yeah. Do you think that they might be
well, I like Lawson. You don't
like
like? Oh, you see this the other way. Okay.
lost in points then? Do you want to do like a loss in? I think that was plus money. Do you like loss in points?
I like him to beat his
I didn't
teammate.
like.
I don't know where that's going to be.
What do you, sorry, what's that?
I liked him against Yuki, but like that could be for 12.
I see what you mean.
Plus
You like this? That's
137 for
better plus
points.
money. Do you see like is this 11 and 12 then? Do you see a disadvantage for Lawson starting on the dirty side of the track? Like, are we like going against the
I
grain
don't
there
think
by
that's going to
taking
be
that
the
bet?
be all end all,
No, that's fair too.
especially at the back of the grid. Like, where are you going to go with
Yeah.
that extra speed? There's nowhere to
Man,
go.
I was really on like all week. I was looking for an opportunity to take Lawson over Yuki, and because I think that the V Carb is going to be pretty good here. So it's not like the car is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare to drive for both of them. And
I think Lawson's faster
there
than
was
Yuki.
that's fair. There was a comparison that they did. So they ran the C2s in Austin. That was the hard, and he like Lawson was on like I don't know what he's like 15 lap old tires compared to like older tires compared to Yuki, and he was just hammering times that were way lower than his brand new hards.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was looking for. I'm like maybe that's just like he's just way better at managing the race pace in this car. Maybe that's a reason to take him. I just like kind of was hoping for if they brought C2 to C4 that the hard like that final stint would be on the C2, but maybe he just smashes him on the C3 too. I don't know. Might be overthinking it. Maybe he's just going to be just way better on the harder tire.
This was one of the only bets I wrote down this morning before they took the odds away, and then I just assumed Yuki was coming out. Which the race is 3.5 hours.
Which,
He
hey,
could still.
I know. Yeah,
Dude, I
maybe.
think we
I don't know.
snag this plus 110.
He just smashed his car up. Like maybe.
Even if he starts there, and they rebuild it. Okay, everything. It's the right car, and there's no issue. It's perfect. I still think Lawson's faster. He was out qualifying him. The only reason he didn't out qualify him is because Yuki
I agree.
crashed.
Yeah, no.
We get plus money,
Yeah,
and then
maybe we should just
over
be
the next
taking
3
that
hours, I'm watching Albert Fabrega, and he's going to tell me Yuki
my
pit
guy.
lane start, and we got a plus 110.
But he might do formation lap and just say like, "Oh, my car doesn't work. Sorry, guys."
You guys, you didn't build it. Something feels wrong. But
Oh,
even
my.
if it's perfect, I like this. I like Liam over Yuki. He's faster. You all right? Did we lose you? Say something?
Any idea what's going on?
Oh, yeah, okay. I assumed it was just going to auto reset to your computer.
Can you unplug and replug your mic in?
Me? Why?
Yeah. Because every time you talk, it's like super loud and scratchy.
Oh, this is going to mess things up. I really don't want to do this.
I
I
think
have to do
it
this.
might be your.
Someone tell me in the comments. Do I need to unplug my mic? This is why it's helpful to have fans. I'm watching all our chats.
Ooh, unplug your mic, buddy.
I want someone in the chat to tell me.
Okay, I can't hear you because every time you talk, it's like super loud and staticky. Crazy. Like literally, I can't even have my. Oh no, it's not. It's not a mic issue.
That probably messed up everything. Yeah, I should have just trusted the chat. Am I back and we still fine? Everyone says it's fine. This is a you issue. It didn't fix? Oh, no.
Is it better?
Well, I'm adding Yuki. I like this. I like Liam over Yuki.
What is going on here, dude?
You sound normal to me. Nothing changed on my side.
Every time you talk, it's insane. Like it's the loudest noise all the time. It's crazy.
I don't know, man. Something on your side. Everyone says I'm fine. Turn your volume down. If you can deal with the sound, everyone says we sound fine. So we don't have that much longer left. I think we got our slip. Mike's fine as well. Thanks, Steven. Appreciate the feedback. Lando lap 1 leader, huge price. We saw that. I said it at the start, plus 450. I like it. I don't like that you can just lose a bet immediately and then you're sitting there and you're like, we've already lost something. And the Merc most points maybe doesn't have as much theory behind it, but it's a nice protection for something happening. Or should we go back to Lando lead lap 1, Mike? No, we don't have Mike. Oh, you're not even in the Riverside.
You can't hear me, can you?
I can. Everyone can hear you.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah. Thumbs up. Thumbs up on the screen.
You can't hear me, can you? Everyone can hear you.
Sick.
Can
Okay.
you hear me though? Yeah.
Well, now we hear that.
Oh, sorry. Thumbs up on the screen. Sick.
You're not in the Riverside. All right. This is not good show. This is not good podcasting now. Biz Nasty, what's the slip? We're looking at Ferrari to lead lap 10 is minus 110. Magnussen to beat Hulkenberg at minus 188. Lawson to beat Tsunoda at plus 110. And then we're going to do a $50 flyer on the Mercedes to have most points. Mike, you got to mute yourself, man. No, this is not. Nobody wants this.
Mike, you got to mute yourself, man. So this is not.
Nobody wants to hear this. And he's gone. All right. Here, we're going to do this. I'm going to call him. And we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. We can finish up, and we'll just talk on the phone here.
Okay.
Mike, it's Chaps. You're live on F1000.
First time caller locked up.
All right, dude. I think I'm happy with this slip. So we just got to figure out the money.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, $50 on the Mercs, for sure. Unless you want to, the payout's not nowhere close, but $50 on Lando to lead lap 1 probably has more behind it, like to justify that actually might happen.
I kind of like that. You're saying that's like almost a more direct hedge.
Yeah, actually, it might be because there's only 2 cars that are going to be leading lap 10 if it's not the Ferraris. And the best opportunity for him to take that and hold it is lap 1. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I kind of know. You know what? I don't think we go away from what your initial gut was. I like the value for Mercedes, and I think if something happens in turn 1 with Max or just Lando trying to get too aggressive, getting by signs, like you probably just sweep it all up with the Mercedes in the end.
It's the value. Yeah, the value is crazy at plus 1,000 for like. Yeah.
I think we let's just stick with that. I think it's for $50, right?
Okay, so that's 50. So we got 950, and that means we got to do math. 3 and 350.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm pretty. Yeah, I'm fine with all of that. Like, what is the 350? Do you like? Do we like Hulkenberg? I think we like Magnussen. I think the most, right? Just one-on-one.
Yeah, and he's got so many grid positions. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I do like Lawson almost equally, but Magnussen has the grid positions.
Yeah, let's do 350, then 3 and 3.
Yeah, and then $50 on the Mercs.
Okay. Okay, I'll put it in now.
Okay, what a way to finish the show. Thanks for sticking around. Not a lot of people bailed. That's awesome.
That's insane.
F1000. Mike's looking to not amend. Anoint. No. What were you looking to do? What was the word?
Actually, atone.
Atone. It's Mike's week of atonement. Shame.
Exactly.
All right, sick. Thanks for joining, everyone.